Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Eyebrow Talk Straight Razor Edition. Compromised or committed? Listen, I say a lot of things on here. I'm pretty rough around the edges. I'm loud, and I'm pretty blunt. So everything I say on here, you shouldn't be taking with offense. And if you do take offense to it, then maybe you should look in the mirror, right? Because I'm pretty sure that the Messiah and that the Father wants us to be refined, right? It wants us, go read the book of James. He wants us to look at the individual in the mirror and evaluate ourselves. And then, right? They want us to look at each other, at our peers, at our brothers and our sisters in the Messiah, and evaluate each other so we can help each other along on this path. Right? You shouldn't say, hey, you guys, you all have the same ideas and the same beliefs, so spread apart. Don't talk to one another. Don't assist one another. Don't help one another in any way, shape, or form. Just 100% be on your own. When I'm saying these things, right, and I'm discussing these things, I'm doing them for you as much as I am for myself. Because a lot of times, it isn't until we speak something, right, that it really hits us, right? It's like, oh, the best way to learn something is to teach it. Sorry. If you prepare to teach something, you have to study it in so much more depth than just learning it. Because you have to learn it, or you should be learning it multiple ways, right? If I'm going to teach addition and subtraction, I should know a few different ways of going about addition and subtraction. I should have some visual teachings. I should have some written teachings. I should have a very good oral explanation of addition and subtraction before I begin teaching it. So that way, no matter what the person I'm teaching, what their learning style, right, whatever suits them best, whatever caters to them, I have something in my bag that I can pull out and say, here you go. Oh, you're a visual learner? I got you. Let's get some popsicle sticks. Oh, you're an oral learner? Okay, cool. Write down what I tell you. Oh, you, so on and so forth. What's happened in the church and what's happened in ministry is everybody's become compromised. Nobody's committed to learning and knowing in and out to its depths the truth. Do you know how many people that I've had a conversation with that looked at me and said, Scripture's too difficult to understand, so I let my pastor do it. Unless your teacher was the teacher, right? And I'm not talking about Nicodemus. I'm talking about Yeshua. I'm talking about the Messiah, the Mashiach. The one, the elect one, the son of Adam. The set apart, elect Mashiach. Unless it was him, that's a terrible statement, because are they committed to the truth, right? And look, it's a hard pill to swallow, right? I got confronted a long time ago. It changed my life. I was doing a Bible study with an individual who I had met weeks before. It was our only Bible study. I was overseas. And they said, oh, what are you? And at the time, I was Seventh-day Adventist. I said, hey, oh, I'm Seventh-day Adventist. And they were like, I noticed you didn't eat the sausage in the morning. I said, yeah, I don't eat pork or unclean foods. And he's like, oh, really? Why? And I was like, because the Bible tells us not to, man. He's like, yeah, I know, but why? Like, why don't you eat pork? Like, why don't you eat unclean foods? And I was like, let me pull out my compromise doctrine. Well, according to the book of Leviticus, swine is an unclean abomination in the eyes of the Father, and we should not even touch its flesh. And then he asked me, why don't you eat it? And I'm like, because, man, like, we're supposed to refrain from these, like, the things that God tells us to not to do. And he leans over the table and he points at me and says, you, Zach Jordan, why don't you eat it? And in that moment, I realized I had no idea what I was talking about. I didn't even know what I believed. I could not speak to my beliefs in which I act out every day. I looked at him, I'm like, I don't know. I was compromised. Because I was doing things that I had no understanding of as to why I was doing them. Even if the Father was pleased or not pleased, or happy or not happy, I didn't know. All I knew was that somebody who I thought was more intelligent than me, who was, and probably still is, right? Probably passed on now, but someone who, they're so well versed in the Bible, they've probably read it 50 billion times. They're a pastor, they went to college, like, they went to seminary. And I thought, I'm never, ever going to be caught like that again. I have to know why I believe what I believe. This compromised faith that has spread like wildfire in the world is poison. It is killing people. Hundreds of thousands of people by the day. It's killing them. All are eligible. That is, and will exist. And the Father sent out a message, says, hey, do you know my Son? To everyone. And many, many returned. Hey, I know of him. But only few actually knew him. And those few, the Son said, come here, let me reveal to you my Father. Those people, that is who we should be striving to be. Those committed to the truth. And if I'm committed to the truth, guess what? Go read John 14:6. And Yeshua said to them, what? I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to my Father except through me alone. I have to trust in the words of Yeshua. I have to believe and know in the words of the Messiah. Not in the words of man, not in the words of this smooth talking, good looking, slick back hair, nice suit, ripped up jeans, nice Jordans. Ha ha ha. I'm cool and funny and witty. And I like to make people laugh on stage. Because that's what this is to me. It's not a raised platform in which I preach the word of the Most High. It's a platform in which I present these hip, cool, great ideas. Here's my best-selling book. There's snakes in the grass. They do not care about you. You don't have to agree with me. That's perfectly fine. They don't care about you. They care about what's sitting in your pocket, what's sitting in your bank account, what's sitting in your tithing little envelope. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but I promise you, I promise you, that when the teacher walked this earth, he gave. He gave. He gave in so many ways that we are incapable of giving. But there is one way that we can give what Yeshua gave. That we can stand with him and not against him. We can be committed to the truth and we can give the truth. I don't want to stand face to face with Yeshua. I want to stand next to him. I want to stand behind him so that I know my eyes, my feet, my hands, my head is moving in the direction in which he's moving. That my movements mimic his movements. Evaluate yourself and ask yourself, have you been compromised by the ways of the world? By smooth talking, ear tickling, self-destruction promoting men and women that twist the word of the Most High into something it's not? Or are you committed to the truth, the way, the life, the true teaching of the word of Elohim? I love you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.